Authors of The Handmaid's Tale and Children of Men used literature to convey their concerns for the world, despite upon being a novel and a film. In The Handmaid's Tale, written in 1985, Margaret Atwood addresses the fundamental concerns of infertility due to the fact that no one was able to make babies anymore, except for a few people. During the time of the composition around 1980s, there was an AIDS epidemic. By the end of 1985, the time when Handmaid's Tale was written, 85 countries had reported 38,000 cases of AIDS. At that time, a lot of people were scared of having intimate relationships. There were a lot of safety precautions advertised in media and newspapers. At the same time, there were also countless gay rights movements, which is linked to AIDS as well, since AIDS was considered as gay disease. These issues in our world has led the author to think of a dystopian world where people would not be able to reproduce anymore, hence Gilead. Society blamed women for being infertile. There are only women who are fruitful and women who are barren. That's the law. So only fertile women were left to men who had powers within society. We are containers. It's only the inside of our bodies that are important. The author uses metaphor to compare women to containers and their fertility as the content. This line establishes the roles of women in the society. There are other women with baskets, some in red, some in the dull green of Martha's. The quote uses symbolism of colors to connect it to hierarchies of Gilead. Like color red symbolizes menstrual blood. In our world, there were a lot of women rights movements at the time which inspired the author to link it with the Gilead. This was her representation of what could happen to the world. Also, terrorism is present in the novel. We see it in the ceremony on the news. The audience is reminded of terrorist groups happening in Gilead. In our world, there were many terrorist attacks, so the author decided to link it to a dystopian society. The idea of terrorism is explored more in depth in Children of Men. Children of Men is the film released in 2006 that depicts a dystopian future where no one is able to reproduce. The movie is set in 2027 where the last child that was ever born has died at the age of 18. Infertility is the main issue as well. Also in the film, the aspect of terrorism is labeled as a really big thing in society. They had many terrorist groups trying to overthrow the government. There were many visual techniques supporting it. Long takes, absence of cuts makes the viewer immersed in the world and create the feeling of reality, as though it happened in real life. The terrorist attacks felt real and truly ominous. Some action sequences were entirely shown through a big single shot to create the sense of suspense. It almost felt documentary-like due to the lack of cuts. The audience is given the sense of that everything that is happening on screen is real and unscripted. The sounds of missiles and guns were present throughout the film to show that the world is falling apart. Since the movie was set in 2006, when the terrorist attacks were present in our world, 9/11 being one of them, the composer of the film showed how the world would look like if the terrorist attacks would continue. When comparing these two texts, we can clearly think of the flaws that are relevant in our world and how composers were able to link them to a possible dystopian society.
could you be so stupid? Because of your sick infatuation with her. Don't!